And so most people don't even have a clue that they've already been enrolled in their cultural trance, in their personal trance, in their family trance, and they're living life as if that's reality. And so living within the constrictions of those particular trances creates the limitations of expectation. What you will project onto the future, what you'll work for, what you'll settle for, what you're happy with, what you're not happy with, all of that, all the choices are not choices at all. They're all choices within a cage. So it's only the choice to be free that transcends the cage.
Hello and welcome. I'm Sophia James and I'm joined today by Eli Jackson Bear. Eli is the founder of the Leela School of Awakening and the author of 7 books on the topic, including his latest memoir, The Fire of Love. Hi Eli, thanks for joining me.
Good to see you, Sophia. You're
Good to
looking
see
bright and
you.
shiny.
Thank you, you too.
Hmm.
So today I'd love to discuss your Waking Up from Deep Trance series on Substack. It's a fascinating exploration of the stories we live within, the trances we live in, from our personal trance of me and my to the collective cultural and global trances we keep alive from generation to generation. By accepting them as reality, participating in them and passing them on. You say the end of suffering is waking up from the trance induction of who you think you are. So how do we also wake up from the global and collective trances that we've been steeped in before even having a sense of I?
Yeah, so beautiful. That's it. So we start out with the general and we get to the particular. And in the particular, everything is finished. Because when it's singular, it's singular. So there's not me and it or awake and not awake or levels of anything. Just pure consciousness aware of itself as light, consciously knowing itself, being itself, and expressing itself. Then that's what we're all here for. And so the question is, when you wake up from the personal trance, you wake up from all of them. Generally, though, that's starting from the beginning and going all the way through, but most people start at the middle. You know, we start with the rejection of a particular level of the trance. So maybe it's the family or the religion or the culture. Sometimes, there's like a break where you see through it and you are disillusioned by it, and you can't be religious anymore. You can't be, part of the family in that way anymore. And so that's where it starts in the middle, and in disidentifying there, you become alienated. You become alienated from what it is you're disidentified from. So with your family, your religion, your government, your world, whatever it is, that disillusionment is painful. It's both blissful and painful. And so the pain of it is the loss of the identification as that. And so in that apparent loss is actually such a greater gain that fulfills that and more. Is this making sense? Am I talking too abstract?
Yeah. It is. It's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, always when you talk about anything, really, it's so simple and it distills it all down, But reading these articles, it kind of left me with, I guess, what you always say is that really our only choice in this life is to be free because nothing else is a choice.
Yes, that's
We
it.
think we have all this choice, but really we're just so conditioned. And I love these articles so much. I've read them several times and I really encourage everyone listening to please go and read them because they're really brilliant. And it's just so fascinating how just these layers of conditioning that are
Yes.
here. And then there's the possibility to actually wake up from all of that because it almost seems like we've got the odds stacked against us, on every level.
That's only because we didn't choose it. You see, we woke up and were born into this trance. The trance, your family trance, your clan trance, your whatever it is, as far as it goes, to the clan, to your tribe, to your country, we're born into it. We didn't choose it. Like your religion. Nobody chooses their religion generally. Generally, they're born to it. And so that's where the level of conditioning begins from the outside. But then there's the projection of myself from the inside that plays into that, and that becomes the arena. That's the play. That's where you're tested, and that's where your life unfolds, and where your challenges, and all happens in that arena.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so if we go back to this sense of I,
Yeah.
something I notice so often laughing at myself because I notice throughout my day how many times I'm thinking or saying, oh, I thought this and I felt this and and it just makes me laugh because it's so
Yes.
funny.
Yes. It's a cosmic joke.
And yet we're still here, we're still moving through this world. And this is, I guess, in a way, a question is, you talk about the global trends, and I love how you really break that down in one of the articles around money, time, the days of the week, the calendar, like all of it. It's all it's all a trance induction. What we
Isn't
just
it?
take for
It's,
granted.
yes, it's like the days of the week is a great example. Did we ever consider that we're living in Babylonian time? That Babylonia made up the 7 days of the week, and that's why God rested on the seventh day because it was written in Babylon during, it's like, so the
Yes, and we
level,
all have this story. I have that from my Catholic upbringing, and all,
yes,
as you've pointed out in the articles, that all, these religions kind of have the same stories. It's based on the same trance. They're just
yes,
different characters in a way, We have Jesus, we have
yes,
whoever else is there.
yes.
It's
I called it a book club, you know?
a book.
Yeah. It starts with the five books of Moses, which is a historical novel. And in the book club, everyone gets together 1 day a week and reads from the book out loud, and they discuss it, and they pray with it, and they use it to pray to their God. And so that works because this is a God that will protect you, kill your enemies, and is also universal, is formless and timeless and spaceless, the creator of everything. So that's the new version of God that came out of the Babylonian captivity. And so it's wedded the Persian with the Babylonian, because the Babylonian mythology, the stories of the five books of Moses, the flood, yeah, so many.
It's all there. It's all
Yeah.
there. All there in these myths, and we've all just been steeped in them. And what I love in your first article where you start talking about language and even before we're born, we're in our mother's womb and the tones of the
Yes,
particular language where we're born from is, the tonality of the words. It's just
yeah,
fascinating how that's shaping us already, before we even are
yes.
born.
The babies cry in different languages, when they're
Mm,
first born. They have the tonality.
mm. It's fascinating. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah. So then you can see how we're all either in tune or out of tune, and in harmony or out of harmony, and you can see what song we're singing.
Mm.
Most
Yeah.
people are singing. Most people are singing a song of suffering,
Mm.
of poor me. It's not my fault. I didn't do it.
Mm.
Like I'm seeing this now. I follow the Crimean War pretty closely, and now since the Crimeans have taken the initiative and are bombing in Russia, like they just bombed Wildberries, The Russian response is victimhood. How did this happen? Why are they doing this to me? And they feel victimized. That's the whole world's story. And so in that, there's a poor me who needs vengeance, who needs justice, who needs whatever, needs a God that will smite my enemies,
Save my soul.
save my soul.
Mm.
Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, I can really see how these trances, these kind of structures in a way, support people in some sense. It gives them a sense of something, gives us all something to hold on to, because otherwise it's just this vast nothingness.
That's right. So something to hold on to, that's it. It's an
Yeah.
object that appears in time-space continuum that you can attach to, that gives you a relationship, that gives you a certain grounding into a particular trance. That's right, that we call reality,
Mm,
and
mm.
that we take no responsibility for. It just seems to be happening. Our lives
Yeah.
just seem to happen,
Yeah, yeah. Life just seems to happen. It's not my fault, and I was born this way, and what
Yeah,
can I do about it?
yeah. All of that is the matrix.
Yes. Yeah, so what about, you were talking just then about the war and this victimization, that comes out of that and really comes out of, any trauma, we could say. What's really the right way to approach that? Because things do happen. On some level, nothing's happening and nothing happened. But on another level, things happen. There is.
Sure. So then you look at the Ukrainian side, and they don't express victimhood. They express solidarity with each other. And there's also the whole society, so there's going to be every level of whatever. But that's the overall theme.
Mm.
They're a democracy, they love their democracy, and they support each other. And that's why the Russians can't compete on the level of the drones, because the war there is really being fought by drones. And drones were something new. Like when the war started, drones were not a factor. And Ukraine made it a factor and made Ukraine is the leader of that world. And Russia can't keep up because they're trying to draft people into the drone program. But those are people who don't want to be there and aren't particularly skilled at it. They're just drafting them into a job. Whereas the
Mm.
Ukrainians are doing it, they started out as volunteers. And the group funded their first projects out of their garage, and now they lead the world in it.
Yeah, it's a
So
good example of where, they're waking up from their trance. They're waking up from their cultural indoctrination. There's an element of that too, isn't it? Where they're starting to see through what they've been told is the truth.
that's true. That's right. So this is recently, where the Zelensky fired the defense minister, who was a really popular figure. He's the one who brings in all the innovations. He's a younger kid, different generation, and he brings in the drone innovations as the head of the Department of Defense, and it's brilliant. But the head general leading the army is old school, trained in the Soviet Union before it collapsed, and has a different hierarchical understanding and fights with this guy and gets him fired.
Mm.
And the people took the streets. And they didn't stop taking to the streets until Zelensky acknowledged his mistake and fired the general and offered this guy anything he wanted. He could be premier, and brought in a new general who was part of that brilliant younger generation. And so there's a perfect example of democracy in action. It
Yeah.
actually it improved the situation.
Yes, and how even in that such extreme circumstances,
Yes,
there's
being bombed every
possibility to
night.
stand up and that
Yes,
we all have that possibility in our own lives wherever we are, whatever
yes.
conditioning we have.
That's it.
whatever,
That's
yeah,
why we're
whatever
here.
stories. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So beautiful. I
What
just
you got?
wanted to read, sorry?
So what you got?
I just wanted to read something that I read in the Awaken Guide in one of your books.
Sure.
And you write, all form is a trance. Fundamentally, nothing exists except pure consciousness. What we are seeing is consciousness playing with itself in the imagination of form. This is Maya, the veils that cover true essence with the forms of a world. Maya is a trance induction. In this trance induction, there is a possibility of heaven and the egoic suffering of hell. Now we are here to be heaven on earth. I
I
love this
agree.
book. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was just going to say maybe we could just sort of go back a little bit, and I'd love to hear actually you talk about what you mean by trance. So you've got a background in hypnosis. You've been training hypnotherapists and working as a hypnotherapist way back when, and using altered states really. This Leela School of Awakening is a school of altered states,
Yes.
hypnosis, psilocybin, which is really what you discovered. I'd just love you to talk a little bit about that, and for maybe people listening for the first time, if you could talk a little about what you mean by trance.
This is trance. These forms are a form of trance. The appearance of a you and a me is a trance. Trance means an altered state. The altered state means leaving the delusional, neurotic, unhappy state of being someone to becoming a taste of yourself, formless, timeless, spaceless, intelligent love. So everything else is a trance.
Mm.
And that trance is Maya. Maya is I am in the mirror. So I am as I am in a mirror is Maya. So Maya is looks and seems like the real thing, but it's the stake. It's the stake in the matrix. And so most people don't even have a clue that they've already been enrolled in their cultural trance, in their personal trance, in their family trance, and they're living life as if that's reality. And so living within the constrictions of those particular trances creates the limitations of expectation. What you will project onto the future, what you'll work for, what you'll settle for, what you're happy with, what you're not happy with, all of that, all the choices are not choices at all. They're all choices within a cage. So it's only the choice to be free that transcends the cage.
Mm. Mm. So beautiful, just even as you say, that it's all a trance. I feel myself falling back out of this trance of the interview and all my
Good.
ideas and all of the questions are just kind of dissolving in this
Yes.
moment, this reality of untouched presence.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
ah.
That's the human possibility. You are the human possibility right now. Happy, free, timeless.
Ah. And some
Yes.
trances are so much more persistent than others. I
Sure.
said to you when we started this interview, I felt really nervous, and I did. I felt all of a sudden this huge kind of waves of nervous energy and and there's a kind of belief here of, my mother's nervous, my father's nervous, my grandmother's nervous. That feels like there's this whole lineage of, genetic, I don't know if it's like a genetic imprint. So I guess I'm curious about that as well. It's like, if it's
Why,
all
why,
a trance, where does that come in?
why bother with it? Why try to change it or fix it? Why not let it be as it is? Yes, there's generational trance, of course. There's generational trauma, of course. It all is passed through our genes. Our genes are the culmination from the first cell to now. Culmination. I mean, my God, thousands and how many billions of bodies have these cells, this DNA pass through to get to this moment where it can see itself and recognize itself and transcend itself. That's the transcendence of fixation, transcendence of genetics.
Mm. Ah, yes, yes, all my relations.
Yes, yes, all
It's
my
so
relations.
beautiful. It's so
Yeah,
beautiful to say it. It's actually so beautiful for me to speak that because I've been taking it really personally and still thinking, there's something somewhere to fix. There's something means that I haven't gone all the way or I haven't something. I'm failing because I'm, still
yeah,
feel this sheer terror, nervousness, whatever, at this body level. It's very body. Um,
yeah. So stop judging yourself.
yeah. So just to acknowledge that. It just seems so ridiculous to try to change that or fight that or change or fight anything.
Exactly. That's one of the questions that came up with the Matrix video. Is someone said, "Well, in the movie, if you're awakened, you're still continually fighting." And then they quoted my teacher Papaji as saying, "When you wake up, all the demons of your past will come to claim you." And does that mean that we're always at war? And it's a very good, important question. The answer is it doesn't mean that at all. When all of your demons come to bring you back, it's not about going to war with them. Going to war with them is the same as joining them. It's activity and turbulence of negative mind. That's not the way. So that leaves not getting involved, letting it pass through. Why not have your generational trauma? Why not have your mother's nervousness and your grandfather's nervousness and whoever else it is? That lineage of nervousness, of fear, fear of survival, fear for the body that gets passed through. It's been there since the first cell. How many countless bodies and beings before we even came out of the ocean? And once we came out of the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's so clear then that the only, problem is the identification with that as a body, that that's me, that this is
Yes,
me, you know?
that's it. And that's a necessary step. It's part of the egoic individuation. So you have to be individuated enough to be able to claim your freedom. If you're not individuated, there's no one to claim the freedom. Then you're part of the societal flow. You're a mother, you're a child, whatever it is. You have different roles in the society, and that's who you are. And so then you're a grandmother, or that's your name. Your name becomes grandmother. And that's because that's your role, and that's who you are. So that's a homogeneous oneness. It is idyllic. It's an Edenic form, but it's not self-aware. It's not self-conscious. And for that to happen, there's a tear that inevitably happens in the tribal society where it can no longer live in that bliss because the oneness has been broken. The religion's been, whatever happens when white people show up. There's a loss of cultural identity, religion, family structure, forcing religions and languages on people. And so that shattering, as horrifying as it is, creates alienation. And alienation creates individuation. And individuation is the egoic me that has to be free. That finally comes, I must be free. And so it yearns for the past idealized moment of tribal unity, as if that's where it is. But it's actually the other direction. It's turning your back on everything to find who you are before the story. And then you live then life is lived from there. And when life is lived from there, your roles may or may not change. You may still be grandmother, or you may not. That's not your job. You're not in charge. You're not the director. You just play your role.
So beautiful, and it feels so spacious to, because then it's all included and we don't have to, we see it as it is.
Yes.
We see that there is a personal trance and there's a cultural one and a global one, and we don't have to
Yes.
argue with that or take that
Yes.
personally.
Yes.
So beautiful. Oh, so liberating. This is liberation. That's just the best word for it.
Thank you so much for being here. What a beautiful mirror.
Oh,
This is love meeting love.
it's so beautiful because all the stories, this is the thing, this is what I love these articles, about this deep trance, is all the stories we tell, all the stories we've been given, and all the stories that run here also, but they're not, that's for me, they're not ruling my life anymore. Like I'm here despite
Yeah.
feeling the nervousness,
Yeah.
despite whatever stories there might have been. There's something true, there's something real here that wants to be lived and is given space and breath to live. And yeah, by you being here, showing up like this, giving us example of what that is.
Like you being here showing up like this.
Same one. Just love, isn't it?
Just
It's
love.
just love here.
Well, thank you so much for this interview.
Oh, thank you so much.